Maybe I'm just nostalgic, or maybe it's truly magical. Whoa, when I see that castle, the feeling is truly magical. Maybe I'm just nostalgic. Maybe it's truly magic. Maybe I'm just nostalgic. Maybe it's truly magic.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Brooke.
And this
is a DisNeato live stream.
Whatever.
Hey!
It's live. Hi.
It's live, and you can see us, and we cannot see you. Welcome, DisNeatos, to a, well, I mean, this is the first DisNeato anything.
Oh my
in
God, somebody's in Magic Kingdom
how
right now.
long? Who is that?
Well, that's way better than this couch.
I think that's actually Emma.
Oh, hi. I want to be at Magic Kingdom.
This is the first time in the new studio.
Studio on the casting couch.
On the
if
casting
you know what
couch.
We mean. Matt's a homeowner. Producer Matt owns all of this. Who would have thought? You know, when we kicked off DisNeato, we were at my house. We had dogs chewing wires. Now we're on a casting couch at Matt's home that he owns. You know, we're all growing up.
We didn't make it very far, did we?
You know, I was trying to make it seem like we did get somewhere. But in reality, we just made it to a different couch. This one happens to have a ring light and some nice ambient lighting.
Yes.
Anyway, welcome. We have definitely missed talking to you all. Well, actually, we mainly talk to each other and you guys just listen to us, but whatever.
We love it.
Yeah, that's how we like to roll. When was the last DisNeato episode? I feel like we did a surprise one a few months ago, or was that like over a year ago now? I don't even remember anymore.
I don't know if you guys can relate, but the last 18 months is just kind of a blur.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to that.
We
It
keep
was the
saying
pandemic.
how was this last year for you, but we're now
It sucked for
a year and a
everyone.
half in. Yeah.
We know it sucked for everyone. But Disney has done some really cool things since 2020, and we haven't been here to talk about it. But one thing that they did is something that we had freaking called out on our podcast years ago. And that was that Cruella de Vil should have a fucking origin story, because I felt from the start that this chick had some deep-seated issues that we weren't clued in on, and that's why she was the mess that she was. And I guess someone at Disney, Emma, are you leaking information to people?
What do we know?
Because they definitely jacked our idea.
Florida, because I live in Florida.
Who said that?
That would be Kevin Zateris.
Oh,
Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin.
How's the weather in Florida?
I know it was raining in Miami yesterday. Anyway, I don't really care about the weather in Florida. Anyway. You can't just read the comments out of nowhere and then expect me to know what the hell's going on.
They're right here.
Yeah, but I can't read that. That's too far away from me.
I got
can't
a new
read any of
contact
that.
prescription, so I can see now.
Yeah, well, my glasses only get me so far in life, and they're mainly for fashion anyway. All right, Cruella. So I hadn't seen it. I saw it last night. So I did watch, but I was really kind of pissed at Disney for making you buy the premiere access to watch anything. That's why I still haven't seen Mulan.
Did
Don't
you
judge
buy
me.
it?
Yeah.
It's on Plex.
Whatever, dude. I spent the money.
Shit.
Okay? I spent the $30 to get premiere access to watch Cruella, and I watched it last night during thunderstorms.
Oh, that would have been nice.
It set the mood, I felt like.
It goes actually very well with the movie.
It does. And I think what we predicted in that episode years ago, and I think that was about villains, right? We were talking about Disney villains. Everything I said was pretty much right. So I want my cut of the money for this movie, because it was basically all my idea. And by that, I mean, I knew she had issues, and she did. But
You really did call it pretty well.
Yeah, I did.
You would be a great therapist.
Or I'd be really good at creating Disney movies. One of the two. I think they kind of go hand in hand, to be honest. Maybe maybe they have therapists write the Disney movie so that people are so emotionally fucked up they have to go to therapy. There's like a conspiracy between therapists and Disney to really mess up people so that they have issues so that they go see the therapist later and it keeps them employed. What do you think? What do you think about that?
I mean, I could see it 100%. It makes sense. That's why every Disney movie is so traumatic and emotional.
Well, exactly.
Everybody's dying. Parents are dying. Children are dying. Friends are dying.
Everyone's dying. Speaking of dying.
What movie don't they die in? I feel like somebody dies in almost every Disney movie.
Nobody dies in Toy Story, right? Except for like the dad, who I guess is already dead.
Well, the toys, there's some trauma there.
Well, yeah.
We lose toys. I mean, the first 20 minutes, we lose Buzz and Woody at different times.
But they're not dead.
We don't know that. Not at that point.
I feel like we do. We know that now. But speaking of death,
as we were saying,
and trauma, I think Cruella has probably the least traumatic parental death, spoiler alert, of any Disney movie of all time. Because if you have seen Cruella, in like the first, within the first 20 minutes,
yeah,
that happens, there's a death. And let me just set the scene. If you haven't seen it, if you're good with spoilers, and even if you have seen it,
it's very traumatic.
Let's reflect on it for a second. Cruella, whose name we learn is Estella, makes more sense. Cool. Her and her mom, I'm doing air quotes, mom, they're going to move to London or whatever. I forget that whole plot line, but they're going to move to London, I'm pretty sure. And her mom like needs money, and they like stop by this, what's it called? Like Helm Hall?
Helm Hall, yeah.
Yeah, they stop by Helm Hall, which is this grand estate, blah, 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 where there's a grandiose ball happening, and we kind of don't really know what's going on, and Stella's mom gets out, and she's like, I'm just going to go see, like, I know this person, maybe I can get us some money so that we can kind of get on our feet in London, blah, 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 boring adult stuff. So she goes in, and little Estella is in the car, and she decides she's going to be a bad little kid like we all were, and she's going to run around, blah, 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 what have you. Anyway, she causes a scene in the ball, and essentially these dogs, aka Dalmatians, are sent after her, and there's a series of events where she's running around and these dogs are chasing her, and she gets to like the garden outside. It's very pretty. She sees her mom talking to this person in a gown. We don't really know who it is. And the Dalmatians that were chasing Estella suddenly charge poor Estella's mom.
Viciously.
Quickly. No, she has no time to react. No time to brace herself for the impact of 3 Dalmatians hurtling at her and then pushing her not just off a cliff, but like pushing her, jumping up and shoving her over a rail with enough force and momentum that
launching
her whole body flings over this like 3-foot railing, and she plunges to her death quickly on the English cliffside into the ocean, and she is no more. R.I.P. Obviously, Estella's mom.
And Estella watched the whole thing happen.
She watched the whole thing, and she thought it was her fault. Thinks it's her fault because the dogs had been chasing her, and then for some reason we don't know. They go and get her mom. Hilarious. I cracked up. I was like, is this supposed to be sad? Like, it's a parent dying in front of their child. Like, yeah, it's probably supposed to be sad, but so funny.
It was a little too...
It was like, yeah, it was way too in your face, I thought. Matt's on screen. Yes, he must have an opinion.
Do you think, I mean, I agree with you that it is funny, but do you think the fact that it's just, I feel like the CGI dogs don't help the situation at all.
Okay.
They were not quite as good as they should have been.
Listen,
either.
I've seen CGI Lion King. I know we can get some good CGI
exactly.
up in this bitch.
CGI in Lion King was like realistic as fuck.
It was. And here's the thing. I'm glad we brought up the CGI dogs because I have opinions. I I get for Lion King needing to do CGI. You can't really train the lions to do all of those things. And there were issues with CGI Lion King and animals not being able to show emotion, blah, blah, blah. But we can train dogs. There's plenty of dog actors. We've seen Air Bud. We know. So why you're telling me Disney, in all of their infinite resources, couldn't find 3 trained Dalmatians to have done a scene where they're running around?
That's all they needed to do.
And then run at someone and jump on her? You're telling me.
They could have probably done that for like $1,000.
Yeah. There's no 3 Dalmatians in this world.
It's not like they had a scene with 100 Dalmatians.
There's
or a
not
factory
100
full
Dalmatians.
of them.
3.
It was 3 fucking dogs that are all the same, which means they probably had like one that they just copied, right?
Copy paste, baby. That's how you do it.
Yeah, that was actually, now that I did notice that the Dalmatians were not that great of CGI.
And there's literally a scene in the movie where the 3 CGI Dalmatians sit down to watch TV, and it's like, you're telling me you can't teach Dalmatians to sit?
I think that's what bothered me the most, was that there'd be scenes, even with like Estella's dog, where it would bounce between like real dog and CGI dog, but there was no rhyme or reason why it would be a CG dog.
Yes.
Like, it would be like, oh, this dog walked up and sat next to the fountain. And it's like, there's no trained dog that can sit at a fountain?
Dogs hit their mark, you know? Like, you can train a dog, like many other animals, to hit a mark.
Especially how long it takes them to make a movie.
Listen, I can train my dogs to hit a mark, and they're wild animals, those dogs. And they could do it. If Coda can hit a mark,
Those
any
damn
dog
dogs
can.
can do it, especially Disney dogs.
Yeah, Disney, like, come on. I just thought that was a cheap cop-out, and it just, like, for me, seeing that, it momentarily takes me out of the film. Because I'm like, come on, really? I don't know if anyone else felt that way, but man, that really kind of just, like, irritated me. I was like, I know you got a big budget for this shit. Get some real dogs. You got enough money to do CGI dogs. That's way more expensive than a real dog. And you can't convince me otherwise.
No. Dogs aside, though, I did like the overall aesthetic of the movie and how it was very dark,
grungy, avant-garde.
Yes, avant-garde is exactly how I would describe it. I really love that it also had like a little bit of a Devil Wears Prada vibe throughout the whole thing.
It did, yeah.
With like those 2 characters, I really enjoyed the movie overall. It was a long ass movie, but I was totally fine with it. At the end of it, I was sad it was over. And I'm excited for the next one to come out.
Yeah, you know how I feel about long movies.
Oh,
and
yeah.
this one was probably 30
Well,
to
you
40
paid for it,
minutes
too.
too long. Yeah, I did. Okay, shut up. We know.
No, and
I paid for it.
And I agree with you guys that the guy who directed this is like really starting to become one of my favorite directors, because the other films that he did was Lars and the Real Girl and I, Tonya, if you watched either one of those. But like all of those films, he has a very unique like filming and editing style where it's just like the camera's never not moving. And I think that really helped a lot. Like, I think that if Cruella had a lot of static shots of them like sitting and talking, it would have dragged. But the fact that like the way that they shot like even their little like heists when they were just like picking pockets on the bus,
Yeah,
like
those were cool.
it made it like
Yeah.
really more entertaining to watch, as it's just like bouncing all over the place.
It also helps I love like dark shit and fashion. So I was super about the movie. I think like all the dresses and stuff that went into it, because you know Disney, like
The fashion was
they took their
like,
time with all that
supreme.
shit. So many cool gowns and outfits, and I loved her little friend. She made, what was his name? That had the little shop.
Art.
Yes.
Oh, Artie, yeah.
Artie.
Like loved their dynamic throughout the whole thing.
I wish he would have played a bigger role, honestly. I thought he was really intriguing, and I thought it was awesome that Disney was kind of representing like this queer character finally, like in a big, huge budget film.
Yes.
With like an iconic character from
Yes.
classic Disney film. And I feel like they could have elevated him a little bit more, I thought.
But
But just still such an awesome addition to the film.
Give them a clap for giving a sign of equality.
And talking about like the fashion piece of it, like I was telling somebody that this movie at like a lot of points is like RuPaul presents the Joker. Like it's just like elements of the Joker, but with like a real campy drag type style to her fashion.
Yeah.
She did. She really did have a drag fashion sense, and I loved it. That trash gown she makes, and when
That
they dump the
trash
fucking
gown?
trash truck, and it's like her gown, that was awesome. That was sick. That's some Met Gala shit.
That was literally some Met Gala shit.
Really.
If that would happen, if people would talk about that for
it would
years.
be sick. That would be like the thing of the year.
They really
that to
did a
happen.
good job of making Cruella Cruella was became my I wasn't a huge fan of 101 Dalmatians. I was fine with it, but it wasn't one of my favorite movies at all. This made me really like the franchise more, but absolutely love Cruella.
Yeah,
I thought it was so good.
I like that we got an origin story, we got more history, more depth.
Yes.
It's obviously probably not what they were planning or even thinking about when they made the animated
Not at all.
movie, but I think we saw pieces of this Cruella when they did the live action one with Glenn Close, who is actually an executive producer if you watch the credits, which is
You
super
pointed
sick.
that out. I didn't even know.
Yeah, I saw that come up. I was like, hell yeah, Glenn Close was an executive producer. She was the OG live action Cruella. When did that movie come out? 98,
99?
I'll check and confirm
Was it
real quick.
97?
Maybe it was later
It might
than
have
that.
been
I don't know.
97.
I thought it was could have been 98, 99.
96.
Oh! I thought I was older when it came out. I was just a little baby.
baby.
I forgot that Jeff Daniels was in that too.
He's Roger, right?
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
schlub.
So
What?
let me ask you guys a question.
Don't disrespect Jeff
Let me ask you guys a
Daniels.
question about this real quick, because I think that for the most part, I like what they did with the characters, and it does feel like it kind of bleeds into the cartoon. The only one that bothers me is that I don't see how the Jasper of this movie ever becomes the Jasper that we know from other movies.
Yeah, because Jasper in Cruella seems to be more grounded and have a head on his shoulders than the one that we see in the animated
Yeah,
film.
because Horace is perfect. They nailed.
Yeah, Horace was great, but I feel again they were giving characters more depth, and maybe they're obviously there's a history there. They go through more stuff before we get to the events of 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
I presume, because we are introduced to Anita and Roger
Yep.
in Cruella, which, by the way, they got Kevin Novak to be Roger, which total stud. Everyone should watch What We Do in the Shadows. Best show. So hilarious. But he's Nandor in that. Anyway, total stud. I thought since they cast him a more, I would say he's a recognizable actor.
Yeah.
He really didn't do anything.
So supposedly,
I was gonna say, is this a lead in to a live action 101 Dalmatians reboot or something?
so all I've heard is that Disney has apparently already secretly greenlit Cruella 2.
Yes.
So I think that we're building
Stoked.
more to.
Will this be 101 Dalmatians from her perspective?
I would love that shit.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Hold on a second.
Did she call it again?
Mentioning-
She called it again.
Now that
Yes.
you mentioned that, we have to talk about what, while I was watching this movie for the most part, I was like, okay, I'm into this. Do I love it? I don't know. Then a specific scene happened, and I was like, I love this movie. And that is the moth dress into the art singing "Now I Want to Be Your Dog" as she walks out wearing a gown made out of Dalmatians to make the Baroness think that she murdered her
Her
dogs.
dogs.
So good.
That is such a savage, cold-blooded move.
Premeditated.
It's so good.
Premeditated.
She was so ready to fuck up the Baroness's name. Be like, I murdered your fucking CGI dogs, bitch. And just
her stitching that gown and then just knowing, I love that knowing the whole time she knew what she was doing.
Well-
And we didn't know we had that surprise. It was just
that's when she made everyone's outfits, right? And
Yes.
everyone came in with
Yeah.
the wigs and whatnot. Okay. I've only seen it once, guys.
I
But
might
that was
watch it again when I get home. Son of a
that
bitch.
whole sequence was very what did it remind me of? It reminded me of something. Fuck. Well, I can't remember now, but it reminded me of something previously, I guess. I don't know. But just totally sick. And again, I wish we had more Artie,
Yeah.
because he was pretty sweet.
He rocked it. I think he'll come out hopefully more in the second one. Because this one obviously was mainly focusing on Cruella. But I love, they really did set up for the second one at the end where they kind of were like, they got to the new place.
And
they're
she's
like,
like, I
let's
have
do
some
this.
ideas.
Yes. And I
What does
cannot
that
wait to
mean?
see this thing like take off. Hopefully. I mean, it'll probably be like 4 years from now and we'll forget about the movie until then and come back to it, but
Yeah, we'll be old by then.
dead.
Probably
dead.
dead. Probably.
Probably dead.
R.I.P. us.
Obviously.
Obviously. There was something else in the movie I wanted to talk about, and now I forget.
As usual, we did not prepare by writing anything down
Guys,
ahead of
it's
time.
not our style. We don't write stuff down.
Why
We
would
don't
we do
prepare.
that?
And when I say we, I mean he doesn't write stuff
We
down.
have empty coffee cup mugs.
I thought that was going to be the whole thing. I want you to know that like 10 minutes before this live stream started, we had finished our tea in these mugs because we're adults now. We're not just drinking
sober.
wine on Tuesdays
Sober.
anymore.
On the weekdays.
And fucking Welch over here is like, let's pretend we have stuff in our mugs the whole time. Like, let's take fake sips and like fake stir and cheers. There is nothing in here.
Hey.
Hey. But I think what you said earlier on about it being very Devil Wears Prada is dead on, because that's what it felt like.
Yeah. It literally, like, and like the dynamic between them, especially when they started working together, like as soon as she got the job, it was like
instant.
Devil Wears Prada for the next like half hour with the web. But I liked how they did it. I liked that they did that.
It was really entertaining. I loved seeing like all of her sketches and like the way she would modify dresses and kind
Yes.
of bring new life to them. That was really cool to watch. It was very like, I mean, I assume it's a super creative process, but as someone who can't do that and has never really been interested in watching that process, I was like, actually, this is super cool.
And I would just say too, like she killed that role as Cruella.
She did. You know, her accent kind of bothered me a little bit. And like, obviously, I don't know really what a good English accent sounds like because I'm just a trash
she's
American.
An orphan, so maybe that was also part of her like finding her own. It was like character.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. I tried to look at it as like her putting on this like persona, but I guess she was acting.
Yeah. One thing I wasn't the biggest fan of, and you see it from the beginning that Estella's got this cruel side, and her, mom calls her Cruella because she's being so cruel. I kind of didn't like that they had already planted it in our heads that she's got this evil side, and we learn later down the line why she does. It's genetic, I guess, but it just felt kind of cheap to me. I kind of really wanted there, like maybe I'm sick, but I really wanted there to be trauma that like really turned her. And like, I guess watching your mother die via CGI Dalmatian is a pretty rough thing to go through. But I really wanted more. I wanted more trauma for her.
A little
more
bit,
than
though, to
more than being
justify
an
it.
orphan and watching her mom die and living on the streets and having to be like a really sophisticated thief at a young age.
Yeah.
I wanted more than that.
Yeah, because
Is that terrible?
now if she found out the trauma she knew by the end of the movie at the beginning, that would be different. Then
Yeah.
it would make total sense. But she didn't know everything.
No, and she was
didn't know how
already
bad
like
it was.
kind of fucked up. So I was like,
Yeah.
this kind of feels cheap, especially when you find out everything in the end. You learn all the twists and turns. It's kind of just like, oh.
Well, when I think about it, like, how did I not see that coming?
Well, that's the thing. Once you
I
learn
really
it, you're
didn't.
like, you're just like, oh.
Now it
Eh.
makes sense.
eh.
They got me good, though. They got me good.
It was a pretty good twist in the sense that I didn't pick up on it as quickly as I would have assumed I would have.
That's
But
what
they
I mean,
kind of
yeah.
started to telegraph it a little bit as the Baroness becomes more of a central character in the movie. They kind of really start to kind of telegraph that whole thing. I'm really nervous about like dropping spoilers in case anyone hasn't seen it. Should we have put a spoiler warning
When
on?
I posted this, I did say that there would be spoilers. So,
Okay.
So they've been warned, and if you're still watching, there's going to be spoilers now.
So by now, we all know that the Baroness is Cruella's real mom, who birthed her and immediately wanted her sent to her death. Understandable.
She didn't want
You
her.
know.
She wanted the glory for herself.
Who really wants to ruin their dope Baroness body?
But she didn't know, right? She didn't know that she was still alive.
Yeah, because she thought, what's his name?
She
Do
thought
we
that her
learn his name?
assistant.
Yeah, what's the assistant's name?
I think it's John.
Is it John? I wanted
I'm
to
gonna
call him
check.
Michael.
I'm just
check.
going to say he played the same character in this as he did in Kingsman, and I loved it.
That's what he's from.
Yeah, it's the same dude. He was the same person, basically.
Okay, I was like, I know this guy.
Love him.
It's weird. As soon as I saw Kevin Novak as Roger, I was like, oh, Kevin Novak, Nandor, here we go. Nice. But that guy, nope, couldn't fucking figure out who that was.
No, well, as soon as I saw him, I was like, where are you from? Where are
Also,
you from?
tell me if this is a controversial thing to say. Whew, Lord, here we go.
It is John.
It is John.
It is John.
Okay.
And I just want to read this real quick because it touches on something that I think we'd all three of us appreciate. The actor who played Horace said in an interview that he drew most of his inspiration for Horace from watching Bob Hopkins play Mr. Shmee in Hook.
Smee. I watched Hook when I was at the beach the other week.
It's a good movie still.
It's on Netflix now. Everyone watch Hook. Mommy could do it, which is like one of my favorite insults of all time. That shit is savage. Mommy could do it. Now I forget what I was saying. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Sorry, I'm the worst friend.
Let us know what you think was the least traumatic parent death in a Disney film. This one. Because it was hilarious.
Yeah, it wasn't traumatic at all.
No, it was not traumatic in the least. Like, well, I mean, I guess I'm not like a child, but even if I were, I'd be like, that's pretty funny.
The second push off the cliff when she pushed Cruella was more traumatic.
I thought that was stupid. I'm not gonna lie.
That was the moment where my suspension of disbelief broke a little bit.
You're telling me she had a parachute strapped into her outfit as a Stella.
That got a little too like Ocean's 11 for me.
Remember, it was a good skirt. It was a good skirt.
That she made into a parachute.
Yeah.
Andrew, let's not make it something it's not.
I thought it was badass.
No. And she flips off the balcony, and parachutes into rough sea waters where Horace, who's a big dude, is sitting in a little wooden dinghy in the middle of rough seas.
That's where it got
she
cheesy.
lands right in front of him.
Yeah, that's where it got cheesy.
Get out of here.
The
That's worse than the CGI.
The parachute was cool.
Dalmatians.
Like if she would have just parachuted and it just showed her parachuting to like a
Where
beach.
did she learn to parachute?
She's an orphan. They do everything.
They don't fucking parachute.
They're quick on their feet.
In London in the 1960s and 70s.
Well, I'm sure she had some planning ahead, right?
Also, was it just me or did this feel like it was earlier than the 1970s?
I kind of agree. It kept kind of decade jumping all over the place as far as I felt. I also
was
felt
it supposed to take place in the 70s?
Yeah.
Yeah, I also
It
thought
didn't feel 70s, but I didn't grow up in 70s London, obviously.
It was like
it
between
felt
the
very
20s and the
60s to
70s.
me. It used a lot of 60s music. There was a lot of needle drops in this movie, like an absurd amount of needle drops.
The soundtrack I loved.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I
Music
feel like
I
it was
loved.
literally like, I think there's maybe 5 minutes of the movie that isn't like a popular song playing very loudly while something happens.
Mm-hmm.
It was very music video-y in that sense.
I don't remember a lot of the music, if I'm being honest. I don't understand so good. I don't remember a lot of things.
She's getting old.
Yeah, not as old as Matt, but I'm getting there. Here's one thing that irritated me as well. And this is very minor and just me being picky. But whatever. So Estella has a puppy, Buddy, and when she meets Jasper and Horace in London, they have a little chihuahua named Wink. How did those dogs live for like what seems like 15 years? Completely unaged.
Yeah, they really didn't age at all.
Like I assume like when she has Buddy, he's a puppy, and then we see that other dog, I assume that's just Buddy grown up. They don't really clarify, but Wink is still the same, and I'm like, how?
Yeah, so Wink was an adult dog as a child.
I mean, that's
so
what I'm led to believe.
Wink's
I was
like
gonna
20s,
say,
in his 20s.
According to Wiki, it says that it's a 10-year jump that we're seeing from the first half to the second half.
That's still a pretty good jump for dogs. Like they're getting kind of older at 10.
Yeah, Wink definitely should not be able to do the things that Wink is doing.
He is a very limber 10-plus-year-old dog.
Or is it a new Wink?
I mean, made it seem exactly the same.
They found another one-eyed Chihuahua and named him the same thing as their childhood one-eyed Chihuahua.
I mean, I guess it could happen, but
Does Disney kill pets?
does Disney kill pets? They kill everything.
Which pet died?
I don't know. Bambi's mom.
I feel like
she could have been a pet.
But that's only if the animal is a character, as
Did
if
Disney
it's a person.
do Old Yeller?
Yes.
Well, there you
fuck.
go, folks. Old fucking Yeller, the most traumatic of them all.
That one is really sad.
It's horrible. Don't watch it, guys.
All right, never mind. They did that with all of it.
But I was texting you guys, and the scene where Cruella is
Chihuahuas
driving.
are the devil's dog. They live forever.
What?
I would agree with that. There's too many of them. They're overpopulated.
Reading things without saying, "Hey, I'm gonna read this." Give me some freaking context here, so I know what's
Producer
going
Matt's
on.
swiping on Tinder. He's trying to get a hot date.
I'm
guys.
on.
He is swiping on Tinder.
I'm on Disney death count to see if I can find any animal deaths or pet deaths in Disney films.
Who has time to run such a site? Disney death counts.
I mean, people.
That's a lot of work if you think about it.
Yeah.
Think of all the
it is.
data points you would need. Where do you get that information?
I mean, do you watch it? Do you compile data from other people?
I don't know.
Is there?
How do you
is
trust
there,
it? What's
like,
the validation process?
Does Disney keep count and you have to contact them to get the information?
You know, that would be months of work for each one. That
I
you know
don't-
that it's not just like, hey, can you give me all this?
You know, actually, you know what? I'm not surprised. People do some weird
Oh.
shit and put it on the
That's not
internet.
a pet. Never mind.
Who?
It's gonna be like the Lion King, Mufasa.
See,
Mufasa, not a
pets.
pet. Not a pet. Old Yeller, definitely a pet.
I can't think of a single one besides Old
just
Yeller.
Fucking
Besides
did.
Old Yeller.
Fucking Old Yeller, dude. You know the dog in Toy Story dies. He gets old as shit in the one.
Not in the movie. Don't die though.
Yeah, but you can kind of guess.
I feel like they won't kill a pet.
But
Except
they
for Old
did.
Yeller.
They killed
Damn it.
Old Yeller.
Maybe not since, because that was so
Yeah,
traumatic.
maybe they learned a lesson. It's like just kill the parents.
Yeah.
Less traumatic than a pet.
You know what? Death in parents, divorced parents. That's our MO.
That's broken families. Love it. Builds character. Dying
Actually,
pets.
it is all about
steer
broken
clear.
families. That's
Were
what
they
it
all,
more
though?
is.
I was like,
Who's not a broken family?
Hold on a second. Here's one. Here's an undeniable pet death.
an undeniable pet death.
Oliver and Company, the villain's two dogs, Roscoe and DeSato, are electrocuted and then dropped off of a train track.
But they were villains.
That's still
That's
a pet.
still a pet.
They're still the villain's pet.
They weren't happy and joyful in our life, yeah, as the viewer.
Listen, Rowdy is kind of vicious. So somebody might consider him a villain's dog, which he's my dog, so true. But how dare you discount him because he's a villain's dog? How dare you? Don't ever.
I'm just saying, like
That's like saying the Siamese
like kind of
cats.
proves my point of there's no like beloved pets that have died.
They are beloved by the villain. You think just because
But he's a
it's
villain.
You think I don't have a heart for my dog? Like you think I don't love my dog just because I'm a villain?
You're not a villain,
That's
though.
the only thing I love.
You're not a villain.
No, but I
very
I
nice.
really want to portray as if I am a villain. I don't want to seem weak.
That's I know, but you're
Come
not.
on. Let me have
You're kind. I'm sorry.
I'm so mean and tough, and I don't care about any of you.
You're holding a pillow, like
Cover my fat. I'm sensitive, damn it.
villain.
Stop it. I am a villain.
Evil over here.
Such a villain. Ugh.
Oh my god. What else do we got to do to make people run away from this live stream?
I feel like we've already done it. They're already out of here. It's fine.
Is anybody left besides the person already at Magic
Honestly, I feel
Kingdom?
better without people watching because it's like good. It's
Whoever's
like,
at Magic Kingdom's probably just showing people there like, look at these fucking idiots.
yeah, who's that? Someone said they're at Magic Kingdom
was
right
Emma.
now. Emma, what are you? Aren't you supposed to be working? What are you doing? Get back to work. Put your phone away. Be a princess.
Could you imagine?
Being a princess
Yeah.
or like working at Magic Kingdom?
Both.
What
Being
princess?
a princess
Who-
as
If
like,
you
in Magic
were a
Kingdom.
cast member at or at any of the Disney parks, and you could be whatever character you wanted, who would you be? I picture you as Peter Pan, and not because you're gay,
I went as him for
but
Halloween.
because you have a very svelte Peter Pan figure.
That's who I went as for Halloween in Disney when I went in high school.
Well, see, I wasn't far off.
But I would do Tinkerbell because I want to be the person that gets to go on the wire.
The zip line.
Yeah, I want to do the zip line.
That
that's
would
all.
be fun.
Or whichever Disney character makes the most kids scream and cry. Like if it's one where like I walk around and kids just freak out. Like,
Well, I feel like being the evil queen would be so fun.
Yeah.
Just be such a bitch.
one of the
to
mean
people.
ones.
Ugh.
Yes.
I feel like I could easily pull off and like one of the ugly stepsisters. Easily. You don't even have to do much to me. And I have the personality for it too. So like I could nail it. Honestly, I feel like that would be the easiest role for me to take on.
You're so self-deprecating.
But who would I want to be? I would want to be Pocahontas, but I'm just a white chick, so that'd be whitewashing a Native American figure, and we've done enough of that in history. So I'll leave that to an actual Native American, as it should be. So,
such as
I don't know. I don't know. You want me to just name drop Native
just
American
some
people?
random
Yeah.
college student, probably. I
I
would
don't know.
imagine.
Do you know any Native American actors or actresses?
Well, they're not hiring actual actors and actresses from Hollywood to be a princess at the
You
Disney
don't
park.
know, Matt.
Yeah.
Listen, this is our own fictional
this
world.
is a casting couch.
That's true.
We are on the
we
casting
are
couch.
casting.
Listen, we're going into a separate episode of Cast Your Own Magic Kingdom.
Surprise, we changed it up on you.
Okay, well, speaking of casting and Cruella, I thought Emma Stone did really well. Wasn't a super fan of the accent, but I mean, she's a killer actress and she did a wonderful job. The guy who plays Jasper, I'll be honest, and I thought that he was Oscar Nunez. Is that his name? The Oscar in The Office.
Okay.
Because if you look at him real quick, the same kind of like
Oh my god.
facial structure.
Yes.
Same skin tone. They look very similar from a quick glance. And then like you can clearly realize it's not him. But at first it threw me off.
I just got the impression that he was just like sad and into her and never said anything.
I agree. I think he loved her
Yes.
and never expressed that. But he was in love with Estella
yes.
and not Cruella. So I think when they laid Estella to rest, that was particularly hard on him. He had to kind of like bury his feelings
yes.
for her along with her fake death.
Did you recognize who Jasper was?
Yes.
No.
All right, so
Brad Pitt.
I'm not even gonna attempt.
Who we had on the show.
Yeah, we
Twice.
did have Brad Pitt on the show before. I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce his name, but he was from Game of Thrones. He was.
Let me see
yeah.
it. Who is he
That's a
in
lot of
game?
text.
He's Hizdar Zolorak. Okay. Oh, he's one of the sons of the Harpy. Well, nobody likes the sons of the Harpy, so
Love the
no
name,
wonder. Everything in Marine with Daenerys is so fucking long-winded and drawn out and blah blah blah. So political and dumb. Anyway.
What else do you think, Brooke?
Oh, about what? I've got lots of thoughts. I could tell you lots of things. I could tell you how I feel about a lot of different things.
Matt's outfit.
Oof. Well, okay. Let's start with the socks. Number one. Tragic.
The no-shows again.
The fucking no-show socks. They look like ballet slippers.
Last time I wore other socks, you were like, "You got to get back to those no shows." So
No,
I
you
actively
need-
made it a point to put on no shows today to avoid being insulted about my footwear.
You need a good in-between sock.
I thought I had a good in between sock.
No.
To
you
be
didn't.
fair, I just grabbed a Disney shirt for this, which is
That's
the-
a Disney shirt?
Yeah,
Small World.
it's a Small World mixed with Sublime's album cover for 40 Ounce of Freedom.
I thought it was just
Yeah.
Sublime.
Yeah, it's from 100 Acre Hood. They make parody shirts
Yeah.
of like famous albums.
I almost wore my Miko and Flit shirt today. Yeah. But I thought I was going to look fat. Turns out I just still do anyway, so could have worn it. Could have. Just saying. Other thoughts on this movie, Andrew? I feel like I've dominated this.
Well, hopefully I don't get bitched at anymore or yelled at, but I really thought it was like really, really, really incredible.
Well, so talk a little bit about.
I really love the movie.
So I know a lot of people are kind of like really enjoying the fact that it's kind of like putting like a highlight on like queer culture and LGBTQIA plus community.
I didn't get any of that out of it.
Well, that I was gonna ask you, like,
None
what
of that.
is
I
it
didn't
because
get any
of like?
attempt at gay positivity in that movie.
Well, I feel like having Artie in there brings that in, and Cruella kind of has some like, I don't know like the right way to say it because I'm just like a stupid. Straight white
them
girl,
featuring Artie in the movie. What the reason I don't say it's like a breakthrough kind of queer thing is because literally all they did was allowed a character to be gay.
Well, so that was gonna be my thing. Like, I feel like they just had like an openly gay character, with a more flamboyant
But the fact that
style.
they did it, it's in the 60s. He's rocker.
70s. It's in the
70s rocker fashion gay.
In
right?
London.
You know what I mean? In London. So they were very specific about how they did it. It's not just like, here's a random person that would be in any other movie and they're just gay.
Yeah. Because I was curious to get your take on that because I had seen so much of it in the press that was like a big thing. And then when I saw it, I was kind of like, I feel like I missed that a little bit. Like,
I didn't get
maybe
that
I'm not
sense.
picking up on something. But I guess, maybe it's different for, person to person. They can just kind of relate. It'd
be one
not.
thing if they like, it was him and his husband that ran the shop and there was some kind of element to their story that they featured in the movie. Like, some kind of struggle or something going on and tied it to like what gays went through in the 60s and 70s that we don't experience now and kind of really made like a tribute or some kind, but it wasn't. It was just a character. It
almost feels like they just took like a gay guy and threw him in and was like,
yeah, it's checking a box.
Yeah.
And I threw this up on the screen. Unfortunately, her name's not showing, but Jessica Rodriguez Herman said it humanized Cruella, but they did the stereotypical gay tropes. He's gay, he's flamboyant, and he likes clothing.
Yes.
Bingo.
It just felt like, okay, he's gay. And
it's
there
nothing
is.
different than they would do in a 90s sitcom.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was a missed opportunity because you could have made Cruella a queer person, a queer woman in this movie. And
that
you could
would
have
been
really
a different way to go about it, yeah.
dove into that because like there's no love interest for her in that, which is great. We don't need that in every movie. They kind of allude to Jasper having feelings for her, but like
you never see her respond
she
to
never
it.
reciprocates that, and I feel like you could have dug into that a little bit and brought that to the forefront along with having Artie there and maybe showcasing him in a more prominent fashion way. Prominent fashion. That's just stupid of me to say
That was
because he's
beautiful in a
into
way.
fashion. It just kind of just came out, just like all tied together right there.
But no, just like my whole thing is the only way for, in my opinion, for not just from a gay perspective, but all inclusivity for things, it's to just kind of normalize it, not say, let's take the most stereotypical version of this and plug it in here to say we checked the box and we did it and look, we featured you.
Yeah.
Because that, in a way, almost is the opposite. It's like, oh, we represented this with a very flamboyant, stereotypical, what somebody would consider gay. But to me, that's also part of the problem is in society, people say, oh, that's a stereotypical gay person.
Well, that's the thing. It's like they use a stereotype and think like, oh, we're representing someone, which like stereotypes are a thing for a reason. Like there are people that are flamboyant and into fashion and they happen to be gay, but there are plenty of straight people or plenty of bi people, plenty of non-binary people that are the same fucking way. So
like her two buddies, it'd be one thing like if they were gay in the movie, right? Like let's say they were together.
What would a gay Jasper or Horace look like?
Bingo. It could have looked just like them. That's what I'm saying.
What about like a bisexual Cruella?
Easy.
Why aren't we exploring this?
Yeah, it's one of those things where if they would have just, I don't know.
I feel like it could have been done
I think they tried
better,
too hard.
so much better. Well, I feel like they didn't try hard enough. I feel like they kind of just like phoned it in almost. And like as much as I liked Artie as a character and I liked having him there, he really didn't he didn't elevate the plot at all, really. He was kind of used as like a prop.
Yeah, she
in the
used him hard.
And I would have liked to have seen him like have his
Which
moment.
there again, there's a gay person just getting used because they're good at sewing and being gay. Like, thanks, Disney.
Yeah.
What about his educational background?
Right.
What about his opinions and his thoughts
What
and
about
his astrology?
his trauma?
Yeah, what about his trauma?
I do want to say one of the other cool things about all the because we did mention it earlier, but there is so many different interesting fashion outfits in this, is that like we know that there's going to be a bunch of people dressed as Cruella this Halloween, but unlike when like Joker comes out and everyone dresses as the same Joker, you're going to have like 10 or 15 different
Love it.
types of Cruellas out at Halloween, and that's going to be kind of cool and exciting to see.
Drag is going to love it.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. This movie was made for the drag crowd more than anybody, I feel like.
I see that a little bit too. There's a little bit of
her
that drag-esque. Yeah.
And everything very
It had
very
a little
drag.
for me it was like a little bit Devil Wears Prada, a little Project Runway, little MTV music video like you were saying, like kind of punk funk.
A little Ocean's 11.
Yeah, little Ocean's 11. Actually, you know what? I would say a little more like Fast and the Furious. Like that kind of tempo.
Fast and Furious. I mean, I think it was an enjoyable movie. I enjoyed my time watching it. I would watch it again. It's a little long for me personally, but I liked it. I mean, I spent $30 fucking to watch it. So
Are you able to like pause it and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you own
So
it now?
streaming it. Yeah, I think I have access to it anytime now.
Okay.
I don't know. Don't screw me over, Disney Plus. Don't do this to me.
You should say that you had an issue with the streaming and get your money back.
Be like, I didn't mean to click that and watch the full 2 hours.
It was my dog.
I don't know what happened.
I'm so sorry. My dog did that.
It wasn't even me. It wasn't even me.
I've never seen the movie.
What's Disney Plus? What is this? Be like, ma'am, have you watched Frozen 2 13 times in the last month alone? Be like, yes, but I don't know what that has to do with this. Be like, well, this account shows that it's played. I'm like, shut up.
I bought this TV from somebody.
Yeah, I don't know I just moved in here. It was furnished already.
We did.
Stuff was already turned on.
Oh God. But I mean, that's really. I'm probably gonna go watch the movie again, and then I'll have more things to say. It's hard to really give a full kind of feedback and review after seeing it once. But
Well, yeah, I feel like on rewatches you see things you didn't catch before, and you build appreciations for things.
Yeah. If you haven't watched it, watch it.
Do it. It's worth the rewatch too. I would imagine. Obviously, I haven't rewatched it yet, but I plan to. Just again, because for the fashion alone, it was sick.
Just don't see it in theaters because you want to be able to pause it and go to the bathroom if you need to, so you don't miss anything and waste money. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm also really glad you can't see my calves right now.
We will share a photo of her calves.
They're
Eventually.
bigger. They're bigger than Andrew's, and I'm embarrassed. So, thank God for that. I need some fashion tips on how to hide these honkers.
Whoa! Put them down. The floor shook a little.
I know. Watch out. These tree trunks will get you.
Jesus.
All right. Well, how long have we been freaking talking?
We've been going 50 minutes.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
anyone
We're
still even
so
listening to
sorry
us?
if anybody's still
My
watching.
God. Yeah,
We've
for
probably
real.
just been talking to ourselves for 35 minutes.
That's okay.
But
I honestly prefer it that
we
way.
find out there's like no internet and like we're not even streaming this whole thing. It's all
That would
just
be
a dream.
amazing. We're just actually dead. We've
This
actually
is
died.
hell.
Yeah. This is where we live now. Hell is Matt's house. Can you imagine?
This fake ass looking Mr. Rogers on my face. Like,
But
what
that's
is
that's
this?
actually Mr. Rogers, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the
that's actually
documentary. Yeah.
very
Oh, God.
photoshopped.
Yeah, Matt has just a giant Mr. Rogers.
It's like a weird museum in here.
It's like a sad, creepy museum.
Yeah.
There's some cool things, like the Harry Potter books are pretty
Like a
sweet.
museum made of things from
From a middle-aged
flea
man's,
market.
flea market finds.
full of nothing but like nostalgia and record shop stuff. And weird art from street art. Weird street art.
Weird street. Yeah. No, that's a good way to put it.
But weird art from streets is actually, I think, my preferred way to refer to street art now.
What I will give him, though, is I'm like, what the fuck is it supposed to? He's like, oh, well, this person I know who did this, and this painted it. So at least it has a tie to him.
Yeah, I don't know how you remember those things. I just be like, I don't know where the hell that came from.
He walks around before we get here and like studies it all.
He's like checking his notes and everything. Like,
Okay,
where's
this
one
is
from?
Princess Julia's
That's
third child.
I slept over at her apartment during Comic-Con
Yeah.
in 2004.
Eventually, it's so I went.
2004.
I went to this museum one time, and I'll set this up one day where it's like you just get a headphones with like an iPad, and it just like tells you about everything as you walk around and look at it.
Yes.
Just little QR codes that people can scan.
I would love that if you took the time to set that up for every one of you.
And I want you to put one on the butt plug thing on the staircase.
Yes. He has a butt plug at the bottom of his stairs as like the
What do you call that?
like
What is
the
that?
cap on the end post of the stair.
What the hell is
The
that
like
called?
cap.
What is that? Is that like
It's a butt plug he
sconce?
has sitting there.
It
Like
is
literally a massive butt plug.
wooden butt plug.
And
You-
I
you will
don't
get
know
splinters.
why. But it's clever, you know.
I mean, I guess, if should you need it,
Yeah, there's only two
It's
chairs
there.
down there in the dining room, so if there's a third
Yeah.
person,
sit on the butt
Oh,
plug.
I guess that's what it's for.
yeah, there it is.
Or you can like slide down the banister and have a little hop
Ooh.
at the end.
Oh,
Start your day.
yeah.
I don't know.
That's fun, I guess. Cool.
Hey.
Hey, well, thank you for joining us. This was a good time. If you stuck in there, bless you.
Sorry you didn't
Bless
have
your
anything
heart.
better to do.
It's Tuesday. None of us do. That's why we're here. Anyway, you know where to contact us. I have kind of forgotten myself. I think there's the DisNeato Facebook page where you're
At DisNeato on Instagram.
Well, they could be watching us.
You
on
could go
the
to our
DisNeato page.
Facebook, which is DisNeato.
Where you are right now. Maybe not.
You could email us, which is,
DisNeatoPodcast@gmail.com.
or you could tweet Matt.
Yeah, and maybe, just maybe, there'll be more of these. Maybe monthly. We'll do a monthly DisNeato. Maybe.
It's supposed to be a surprise, I thought.
But in the meantime, Roaring 20s.
Roaring 20s is still happening. We still just talk about life. We did a fun little episode today. There was absolutely no structure. I'm sure you're shocked. We just talked about MySpace and did MySpace surveys. Yeah, so
That's literally all we did.
if that's something you're interested in listening to, if you're into it, if that's your kink,
We recommend
we
it.
got you.
And we love you,
Yeah, probably, maybe.
but we don't.
Some of you no.
I do love you, though, number 3. You know who you
How
are.
many people do you think are on here? Of the four, how
It's
many?
just our exes.
I was gonna say how many. Oh my god!
It's just our exes watching. Oh, they dropped off. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
I would love that.
I don't know. I would love that for you. I love
Nick
that
Jonas,
for you.
if you're watching, call me.
Leo, sup? If you're into mediocre chubby girls,
He just like giggled and ran away from his
you're just
computer.
like, oh, called out. Hit me up, Leo. I'm ready.
NBD, just some celeb gossip.
All right. We love you. And this has been a DisNeato live stream. Hey!
Bye.
Throw them on the
She
floor.
needs a cup as a prop. Have you not watched any talk show ever? Oh my god! Yes. And I do a stir.
Oh, don't make me laugh. I'm trying to drink.
Oh, it's like us retired DisNeatos. We're sober now. We joined Matt in sobriety,
But
Can we
not
do that?
celibacy.
but not celibacy. We're doing that.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network. You're listening to the Geekscape Network.